So if you are trying to suggest something and you haven't got a reply, don't feel so
Yeah.
disheartened
Yeah.
because maybe somebody actually thinking about like, what do we do? Because it's not that simple. Just okay, we start a service. It's not like that because there are funding issues, staffing. Yeah, I was glad actually people told me that actually it was started from that
Ah.
email. I thought I was so disappointed about why I didn't got a reply.
Thank you so much for coming. I mean, we've been knowing each other for a long time. How
Must
long?
be. So that was around 2007. 18, oh my God, 18
Yeah.
years ago.
But I should say your name, Kitty Cole. And many people actually know you. I don't think I really need to introduce you, but would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. My name is Kitty Cole. I work for Asian Health, and I'm also a PhD candidate at the University of Auckland doing a thesis. Study about the treatment burden of peritoneal dialysis patients, especially for female. And I also work in health as an Asian health advisor.
And I think what I always admire about you is your passions for communities. Even way before when I first met you, you were running and kind of co-founder of Young Wei Say.
Yes, you just reminded me. Actually, I forgot about that. Yes, so we probably know each other even before then. Because I set up say after I graduated with my psychology degree, that was 2003. I think we started planning in 2002. But actually, when we started the psychoeducation for say that was in 2000. Oh my God, so
Yeah.
it's like
And I witnessed your whole journey. I mean, I witnessed your whole journey of dialysis, your kidney transplant, and I didn't know how hard it was even during the time when you had to go home and do all the treatment and you're still working full time and you're still doing so much for the community. So that was what I admire and respect most.
thank you. I
Yeah.
honestly can't remember the say part because too much going on. And of course, I'm a dog crazy person, as you can see, that dog mom, right? Yes, say I started in 2003 after I graduated with a psychology degree and with a group of my classmates. And then I think, and Dr. Saiwan as well. So actually, I still remember, I didn't know him at that time. But I know there was a psychiatrist that time at one of the clinics. So I actually left a handwritten note at that time because internet was available at that time, but there was no smartphone or nothing like that. So I write him a handwritten note and ask him whether you wanted to help me because I want to set up a travel trust education group for Chinese people with mental illness and their family as well with IT psychology. And surprisingly, he did reply and say yes. And so he was helping me. And I also got my supervisor at that time, not really supervisor, but lecturer at that time, Dr. Samson C. And he also actually willing to help me. So we got these two very highly respectable people, an academic and doctor, to help us with and that's how it was started. And of course, my classmates from all psychology degrees as well. And I think most importantly were the consumer with mental health issue themselves and their family believing in us to attend the activity group.
Yeah.
We did a weekly one in Park Ranger. And so that's how it was started. And I think most touched my heart at that time was I was creating a signage in Chinese anyway of and I was working in mental health at that time, but it's a mainstream one. So my European consumer, he actually painted that Chinese character for me. Yeah, so that was very nice of him.
Yes.
I basically wouldn't understand Chinese anyway, but he literally painted the, I still remember white, black, and red color with our logo, and he painted like very big one for me.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
And I think what my experience in mental health shaped up who I am today as well, because it's not about how educated or what study I did. It's more like the human relationship that I value when I look after them at the residential house for more than 1.5 years when I was working there as a fresh grad. And yeah, they're very nice people.
In fact, I think another amazing thing is you recognize the needs of having a group where can support people,
Yes.
especially parents, like they're a bit lost having their children or loved one going through mental distress, but you recognize that they equally need support because usually the supports go to individual
Yes.
and especially for people who couldn't speak English.
It's interesting. You were just reminded of those words that I did. I didn't even think about that actually because I was much younger then. that helps.
We all were.
Well, yeah. So when you were younger, you have passions, you have more time. You're not a mom, you're not a father. You probably have less things in your life where you can have more time to do volunteer work or helping others at that time. And I think the other thing I did was, as I said, I was younger. So at my work, I work in mental health. I work in mainstream service. I also see the need for better support for Asian people. So I did wrote to my manager and gone to the GMs and why there was no Asian mental health service at that time. So at that time in the DHB kind of district health board government level, there was no Asian mental health at that time. So I did wrote to my manager. So why? So at that time, without my knowledge, I thought, why I didn't hear back? So what happened? But after so many years, I heard that actually they took it to somebody at the end.
Okay.
It turns out to be the Asian mental health service in one of the hospital in Auckland. But at that time, I wrote the email without thinking, because as I said, I was younger.
Yeah.
So I thought, why?
Yeah.
And then I didn't receive a reply. But actually, people took that suggestions and thinking about what to do.
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
And again, that's purely based on
I think the email triggered them about why or there was a need.
Yeah.
And they start thinking, but the organization is very big and all that. So if you are trying to suggest something and you haven't got a reply, don't feel so disheartened.
Yeah.
Because maybe somebody actually thinking about like, what do we do? Because it's not that simple. Just, okay, we start a service. It's not like that because there are funding issues, there are staffing. Yeah, I was glad actually people told me that actually it was started from that email. I thought I was so disappointed about why I didn't got a reply.
And I think I want to emphasize that as well because you were one of the pioneer.
Yeah.
It is, who initiated something. And that's why part of the reason why I want to invite you to the show is so that people also understand because people only see what you're doing now, but they not aware of actually there was even way back 20 years ago. It's not like Kitty is suddenly sitting there and, chairing a meeting. It's not. You started way early without even knowing what you put yourself through, but you just have action.
I did like that time, as I said, when you were much younger, and I did a psychology degree. So you were thinking, what do I make the most of that? And how can I help other people? And at that time, we set up the charitable trust, and it was a hard work. I still remember preparing documents and all that. It was so stressful because we all just university graduate, we didn't know anything. And then once we got it approved, I wanted to cry. That was that moment of finally we created a trust.
Yes.
And then also, but even when you create a trust, that means with the funding. So me and my classmate, we were all volunteers, and we actually did some work and research, and we earned some funding. None of that received any payment, but we put all this funding we generate by doing research and put it back into the support group. And so to support the group, how it runs, and support students to attend conferences as well. We actually, there was money that we set and announced research award for Asian health under Aotearoa clinical trials at Middlemore Hospital as well. So none of us take any money from that, but we hope that the money we use, we generate from the research or whatever we did, and we'll put it back to the community as well. And encourage younger people to do research and to study, and that's what we hope for.
And that's where it leads us to a very good topic, which is authentic leadership.
Yes.
And that is where I see your authenticity came from, because it wasn't from any other things than purely you saw the need and your passion. And to date, you're still holding that space, trying to help people to connect.
I think so. I think to me, leadership does not come from the title. And I believe that it doesn't need to be a manager. I don't need to be a manager. I don't need to be a lead to be a leader.
I agree.
And what I feel probably proud of myself is I can be wherever I am, but I lead a group. Or probably I won't say leading. I don't like to use this because I don't
I
see
hear you.
that.
I hear
I
you.
think it's more like I want to bring people together to make a
Yeah.
difference. That's what I want. I lead. I don't want to say I lead a group of people,
Yeah.
even though as Ivan and many of people know that I do have a network that I have 670 people across New Zealand. But I don't like to say that I lead the group. My job is on what my passion is to how I bring these 670 people together to make a difference to the life of the Asian people in New Zealand, put it this way.
I think like what you say, like you actually use your passions, knowledge, and experience, created a platform where allowing people to come and exchange knowledge, informations, and also nurture the next generations to be part of something that they're passionate about,
Yes.
which is not that there's nothing here beside that, beside the platform that you have created.
It's funny
Yeah.
that my platform, the network, I set up like 14 years ago, 2011. Originally, at that time, it was more like there were not a lot of Asian staff in the health sector, so I want to create something that they can talk to each other and connect with each other and feel supported. But as the network is already how many years now? 14 years. It evolved every time.
Yes.
So from that one, it's more like just internal, just for one department. I expanded that to the whole organization or NGO, but now it's the whole New Zealand. And I think for the years, lots of young people came to me and said, "Oh, I study health sciences. I study psychology. Where can I find work?" I try my best to create some volunteer work or experience.
That's
Well, may not be volunteer work. Could be experience based.
Yes,
Say,
that's right.
I have a volunteer now. Help me to send out a weekly email, and for him, he is another very nice person. And it's not about pay, but it's helping others that he
Exactly.
likes. And lots of people will think that, okay, why he's doing it. But to him, it's something he contributed to the community
Oh,
that make him feel proud
absolutely.
of himself.
I agree.
And then I also had my student, I also supervise better health sciences student for me. So I supervise 25 in total. And some of them still keep contact with me, and some of them did some volunteer work with me as well. Because I set up that many. So things changes. New idea came when people approach me and say, "Oh, okay, there's a need for young people." And recently, I do see a lot of younger people graduate with like health science degree or still studying psychology degree or finished it but still not sure what to do. And then I think about when I was younger, why did I have someone like that talk to me?
Exactly.
And so I went, okay, so if I can use my experience to help this, so what I usually offer is if I have someone and I say, I may not able to create a job for you, but what I can offer is I talk to you and give you some idea what you can do or study and help you to think where do you want to go, what's your path, because what you study may not necessarily you do what is what you study, you may go to other paths. And I also via my network, I was able to put these young people into connection with other people who can give them advice. And I think the great thing about the network is all these people are very passionate as helping others. So I don't usually have people to turn down these young people's request to meet with them to get experience. And all these people are very happy to support the younger generation to navigate the health system to find career. And I think for us, we don't want these young people feel that they can find a job and they leave. We don't want that. So that's why all of us try our best to spend our time out of the busy life to meet with these people and try to give them hope. And not just young people, I also got migrant as well. PhD student as well from smaller Asian community come to me and say, "Oh, as a migrant, where can you find a job?" So I think I'm very proud of myself that the network, the people, not just me, but are able to help to these young people or migrants to navigate finding job in here. Again, none of them claim the title as a leader. They're just quietly doing the work. And I want to acknowledge it with by letting you all know. And for this conversation, there are many people doing work to supporting the young people and the migrant people here.
Yeah, I agree, and that's what a true leader is. A leader not necessarily have to be in front of all the time, but willing to stepping back and share resources, information, and knowledge, and knowing someone, especially like new migrants or even students who Asians, because not many jobs that are let them able to have a taste of what would that be working as an Asian person, not just being dragged into a mainstream and then lost that identity and which you have created. And I think is very significant. So I know that also because of, like the mentorship that you have received yourself, which is also a big part.
I think that also shaped who I am today. As I said before, the time that I was working in a mental health NGO, I had a psychology degree, but I needed to work as a support worker, residential support worker. I needed to stay overnight to look after a mental health service user. And a lot of Asian community, probably at that time, was why you had a psychology degree and that kind of support worker's job. When I look back, or even at that time, I didn't regret that. I did work for 1.5 years. The time that I spent with these people with mental health issues, then you generally actually learn about their life. And not just that, but it's the trust. So I used to wear an apron and clean the bathroom with my client together. Cook together. I drove a minibus and took a group of them, and we went to pet and safety shop, and I taught them how to budget. But in return, I still remember a gentleman. He is such a gentleman. He taught me how to grow strawberries. And then he would, the other client was a bit naughty, tried to kind of just be naughty. He had no harm to me at all. It was just naughty verbally. And the other guy would say, just back off and try to protect me. So that was sort of thing that people don't understand. And the other guy, who painted the signage for me, I actually drove the minibus again, driving around highway, Bonton area to pick up stuff during the inorganic rubbish time because he liked woodwork or turning DIY thing. And at the end, when I left, he wrote me a reference letter. I still keep that.
Wow.
So he said how wonderful I am. And that is something that you won't receive. You don't get that when you work in a probably not as a support worker role, probably not in a residential house, because the relation I had with them, and that is shaped who I am today.
Wow.
And the mentorship, I have very close relationship with Dr. Iwan and Dr. Simpson C, and they are very humble people. They contribute so much. As Ivan said, I have been Asian healthcare for 20 years, but Dr. Sai was even longer than. He was the clinical director for South Auckland Health for some time. That was probably in 1980s. So that was 30, 40 years. He was a true pioneer. But he never really said that. Even he got the Queen's Award, but he never really, he was so humble. And his wife as well, Swan, they contribute a lot. They create a lot of cultural training. They even went to churches to give a lot of Asian mental health talk. Research. And remember, many years ago, that was before all this online thing, right? That's early 2000. He used to run his cross-cultural group in his little private practice in Parnell. I attended a few times. Before we got more and more people working in mental health that joined in the group, and then it turned to be a much bigger cross-cultural thing. But he never really just go up and talk about it because they're very humble, and even Don Simpson see. And the other mentor I received was Sulan, and she was the one that set up the Asian Health Service in Waitemata. And so she was hardworking, and very bad somebody so hardworking like her.
Yeah.
And she would call me all the time as well and talk to exchange idea. And they basically shaped the Asian health in New Zealand and to do for the cross-cultural training. In another mentor who will be my master supervisor, Dr. Elsie Ho. And I think, I want to cry now, but it's more like, Lord, I don't know why.
No, it's okay. You allowed to cry. I cry so many times.
So it's more like, I think, for me, so she was my supervisor, but she was my master supervisor. But I think what she offers these people is not just about so as a supervisor, some people just that's your thesis, right? But I think what happened is, so at that time I went for divorce. So her focus wasn't just about your thesis. They were more worried, not just Elsie, but Saiwan, Suwon, and even Patrick, another mentor. They were worried about how do I get through that and finish my master degree. So they worry about that.
Yeah. Because there's another things that they worry about you because you also have some health concern, which is.
Oh yes. I had a transplant at that time, but I think what touches me is it's not about the caring about you, not just about your thesis, the caring what happened in your life, and they didn't want you to fail because they knew that I was on dialysis. I was doing a master for 9 years. That's longer than the average student. I was working full time in dialyzing 5 times a day. So when I was so stressed, I didn't return their call or email. They thought, what can we do to help her get through this? And I think that's why I still visit Dr. Saiwan and his wife and Elsie. Unfortunately, soon passed away. I think that is what touched me the most. It's not about just supporting my support group or not. It's the real caring about that.
Yeah.
So I think for leadership, that's why I believe that it's not about the title at all. And it's not even providing job opportunity or experience. It's beyond that. It's the genuine relationship and how you support your mentee or someone you genuinely care, because people can feel that. That is why I think I want to do similar thing to whoever I can. I mean, relationship is a funny thing, it's a mutual thing. So I will try my best to build a genuine relationship with others. But of course, that is a mutual, as I said. It also needs to the other person wanting to accept the mutual relationship and connection as well.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that I was able to do that with Dr. Saiwan, Sue, Juan, and Sue, and Patrick, and Samson, and Elsie. And when I say a relationship like me and Ivan, it's not just when we were at that time, that moment, in that position. How I see relationship is a lifelong relationship.
Absolutely. Genuine friendship.
Genuine friendship lasts longer. And to be honest, I can't remember all 670 people in whatever. There's no way I can remember that. But I think it's important for me to know some member at least, or if I can remember 670, that would be wonderful. Human memory is limited. So how I try to remember people is now I learned that I forget about. So whenever I have new people come to me, and Ivan was very supportive. Every time he met new people, he always referred to me anyway. So now I know that rather than just simply add an email on my network, I actually spend time to know the person.
Yeah, you did.
So that really helped, because that means whoever come to me ask me, oh, I need somebody. So I was like, oh, okay. I've introduced this person from this country, this community that have this is what I can refer. But without spending time to get to know the new person, I can't tell you. So for the last few times, I got new people say, okay, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Some people tell me a long paragraph, and some people told me the main point, which is very helpful. Like, for example, where you're from, the language you speak, what you're looking for, what you're studying. The even better is to meet in person. I like online thing because I just so busy.
Me too.
But if I can meet in person, I will still make a time to meet in person. And what I do to try to save my time is I will meet a few people on the same day. So I just go once. But nothing can, online meeting first time cannot replace the first in-person connection, because you can see the movement, how the person dressed. You can pick up few signal about a person. So I think for me is, yes, I can remember people even to tell me a bit detail of for the email introduction of themselves. But those people who I met in person actually make me even remember them better.
And that's what I appreciate the most, is because you're busy. It's not like you're not busy, and you're still willing to meet other people, especially these people who either new or started their study, or they need people to help them to find more participants, and you always give your time. And that I really respect as well. And a lot of people didn't know, even during the time when you know, like setting out Yang Wei and doing all that, you yourself were going through help.
Yes, I was. So I started dialysis in 2004. And so a lot of people don't know what's peritoneal dialysis. So different to the hemodialysis, which is connecting the blood and using your arms. So I have beautiful arms still. Peritoneal dialysis is the one that you have a tube connect to your tummy and to a bag. So you dialyze 4 times a day. And in my case, towards the end, before I had a transplant, I was dialyzing 5 times a day.
Yeah.
So that means before I went to work, lunchtime, after work, before I make dinner, before I go to bed, and the 3 a.m. in the morning every day.
Wow. And you still have so much energy. Every time when I saw, I was like, where do you get your energy from?
I don't
Oh my God.
But luckily, I have friends like Ivan and others. And I think why I'm saying lucky because I'm doing my PhD about patient experience. A lot of them cannot hold their job because dialysis or end-stage kidney disease is a serious illness.
It is.
You don't know when you're going to die until you know that you will be alive, but you don't know how long you need to be rely on dialysis, and you don't know when you have a kidney. Basically, it's a lottery. So every day you just do your best. But when my study, I interviewed like 12 people now. Only 2 or 3 people holding their job and 1 full-time, but others are 2 part-time and all the others are not doing well. Like they need to give up their job. But why I'm saying I'm lucky because I was working in health. So my work gave me flexibility and they let me work. At that time, it wasn't work from home because, that wasn't popular at that time. But I got my laptop. I can work flexible hour. And if I feel sick, I could work from home. And so that makes a difference. And I think what makes a difference is at that time I started as I always worried about whether I could work. And in fact, my manager actually asked my partner now, at that time, my colleague, to see whether she could work. And yes, I was able to work. But they didn't discriminate me. It's just always say she has dialysis on that. So I think that helps because they accept me. And then because again, I was working in mental health, that helps as well because I use cognitive behavioral therapy to positive thinking, keep myself positive. And my colleague never not accept me. They accept me as who I am. Yes, I'm on that, but I'm still working. And that's what my manager, Anna knows. She was so supportive. She never questioned my ability to work at all. And that makes a very big difference to someone have long-term illness.
Can I want people to know you work really hard as well. I don't want
feel that.
You are, because even though we're not working together, but we did something together during the time. And I know like you are a very honest individual. You wouldn't take advantage. You will still work at night. And also, I mean, because if let's say, I just want to make sure that people get it, you say, oh, because you work in health and all that, but also because you're critical, who resilient, work hard, and really make a difference. That's why they also values what you bring on the table.
I think so. So I believe that if you, I think that's my work ethic as well. Because I think what happens is if you have a long-term illness, you make yourself even work harder because you don't want people to think that you use that as an excuse to not work hard. And even those ladies I only interviewed the female dialysis patient. That's my thesis about. They all actually work extra hard because we all want, I can say we because I am part of them. We don't want people to think that we are on dialysis or we have kidney failure and that's why we are not working hard. No, contrary to what people think, we actually work extra hard to be normal, be part of the normal society. And that is why, again, sorry, I'll bring it back to my study because that is what my study is about. I really want people to know that people have long-term illness. Doesn't mean they don't work hard. And they still work probably extra hard to fit in the society, what they expect as a normal person. But doesn't mean they don't feel tired.
No.
Doesn't mean they don't experience up and down because I had many surgery in my during I dialyzed for 7.5 years. And I think what people don't really understand is, I mean, even in my study, a lot of research is about how the patient facing about symptoms or day-to-day life restriction because of the dialysis. But I think what I want to highlight is, in my study, is about what are these restriction or symptom impacting on how the person carry their role as a person or as a mom or as a dog mom. So that is something that probably health professional less aware of because they just don't understand that.
I mean, because I understand, so that means you wait for about 7.5 years for and also your study specifically looking at female,
Yes.
right? So would you like to
Why?
expand a little bit more? I know that this is for the panel.
Okay. So why I specifically look for young females. So that's why it's very hard for me to find patient.
Yes.
Because I look up the database of the whole New Zealand.
Yes.
For that age range, age 18 to 39, there were only 100 and maybe 14 patients fit that criteria. And I'm glad I found at least 10% of them be interviewed by me. I was so lucky. So why I'm interested in the age group, because when I was on dialysis, I started when I was 24 years old, and I had a transfer when I was like 32, something like that. And so for young women have long-term illness and severe illness like dialysis, you wonder whether you can still carry on your job. Yes, because a lot of people lost their job. I was married at that time, so whether my mother-in-law likely, I couldn't give birth. Obviously, I was sick, and I think from a cultural point of view, I wonder how can I carry my role as a wife. I have no problem looking after dogs. It's perfect. It's fine. I got 3 dogs at that time. But you wonder, because that is how society expects you, right?
That's right.
Expect a Chinese woman, you clean, you cook, and so it's more like that. But then you think, okay, I have illness. What can I do? So that's why I am interviewing particularly that age group, the younger one, because at the moment, a lot of research actually they talk about patient experience, but they lump people like 18 years old and 60 some years old. And a lot of dialysis patients are much older, like old age. So they probably won't have problem with having kids, right? Oh, have kids already.
Yes.
Do they worry about job? No, because they retire already. Do they worry about looking after kids? No, kids are grow up already.
Right.
So my point, I'm focusing on 18 to 30. I was 1 to 35, but I couldn't find enough patients, so I extend to 49. And so this group have, I think, again, because my background in mental health, we talk about life course. Younger people experience different kind of life experience. Young adult, old people, but in physical health, they don't have that clear concept at the moment.
That's right.
So that's why I want to highlight that. Why female only? Because again, female has another set of issues like pregnancy. Men have different issues. And I think female, as a mother, you look after the kid. And when you're sick, you can't. Again, there's another issue that I think current research haven't addressed it because they lump female, male together. So I really want to highlight the females because my experience. And yeah, I think that is why I want to focus there. And I think it brought back to my NYC time. I'm a patient. I can speak the whole day just about my experience, but I don't want to do that because I believe that if I really want to be an expert on something, I need to do study because personally, I believe that we never know everything. We can never. There are always things that you don't know. And I think for me, yes, even I can speak on my experience, but I want to be an advocate for my patient because I know that not many kidney patient or people being for dialysis actually doing PhD. Not a lot. I met some people in the conference. One went straight to transplant into dialysis, or one maybe very brief time. How I see myself, well, if I can do that, I want to do that so I can get people understand the experience of I save my fellow patient because I'm one of them. So, and I think I'm in a unique position because of my experience on dialysis, but I also work in health. So I believe that I probably know how to communicate with the health professional better and convince them. So I see myself as a bridge between patient and the professional as well. So that's how I chose that topic rather than the Asian health because my experience.
To be honest, I think what you highlight is very important because you bring, I mean, usually people when thinking about dialysis, I don't think people thinking about young people.
It's more like old people.
Exactly. Because of kidney failure and diet that they were part of the reason. So you want to share a light to people who
Yes.
are harder to be seen because
Yes.
of their own long-term condition, and also letting people know they have a different set of challenge and societal
Yes.
stresses. Like what you say, you know, like expectations when certain age you have to have children and all that. And they all are like real concern for them because they can't because of their health. And then you really help them to have a voice. I think that's very meaningful.
I interviewed some patient, and it is so interesting that there are differences between my age group 18 to 14. So the younger age group don't usually do well. They usually lost their partner left them. It's very sad because,
Yes.
well, I can't blame the partner as well because it's a lot to take on to look after someone on a long-term illness or dialysis in this case. But there's a younger age group, they lost their job because most of their job are junior level or self-assistant. You can't let them. It's much harder for them to do dialysis. That's why I said I was lucky because I was working in health. And then we look at the 30 years old group. Again, they gave up their job because they just couldn't continue. But funny enough, all those people working were 40 plus, and they are the mothers, have children. And do you know why they actually want to work? Simple. Reality, they need to put food for their children.
Yeah.
And that is a reality. Even you're sick because of the children, in my case, dogs, I just need to work to put food on the table.
Yes.
And also the other interesting thing is they chose the dialysis because you can do it overnight one, connection to the machine for 8 or 9 hours or 4 or 5 times a day like me.
Yeah.
So they often choose the manual one because that means they can spend time with their family and spend time with their children or take care of the children to school or pick them up. So it's quite different. And I know today I'm Asian, but in my study, I interviewed Maori, Pacific, and Pakeha Asian. And what is fascinating is for Maori Pacific, they chose the dialysis schedule or the manual one because they can spend time with their family. And because it's family time is very important. And they told me they just don't want to go to bed, go to room, lock up their door from 9 o'clock to 10 hours before, and that means they can't really talk to their family. And it's very touching for them to say because it's very hard in some have 3 or 4 kids and they still dialysis. Amazing woman. And when you talk to them, you just feel, wow. And then the funny thing is, they told me how the grandkid or children help them with setting up the machine, carry their boxes, if a Pacific family. And you can see the love within the family. And what's the difference is, how I see that is for Pacific American patient, they really value the love that they receive from their family. While I interviewed a Pakeha patient, she feel proud of herself, be independent. So that is quite an interesting kind of cultural difference.
Wow.
And that's amazing because the Maori Pacific family, they probably don't really need that support, but they feel loved when family feel do that. While the Pakeha lady, she doesn't mean she doesn't love her family, but she feel proud of doing everything for herself.
Yeah. So that collective culture of,
Yes,
like
it's
looking
just
after each other.
I find it fascinating. And I
Wow.
think what happened is, even though my topic is about peritoneal dialysis, which is already people less knowing about that already, and even less research about that, because my work experience and myself as a migrant here brought in that kind of lens to cultural lens to look at things slightly different, and my health experience as well. And so I see things quite differently to other studies already published about patient experience. So I thought it's fascinating. So it's hard because I work full time and studying part time PhD. I got 3 dogs, but I think what keep me going is you are really looking into something that you really interested in, and I think a topic close to my heart because if not, I'll probably give up.
I hear you. I hear you because it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy. Yeah. And that's what I know you when you say you're going to do a PhD. I'm not surprised at all because that is Kitty, like you always try harder and even wanting to contribute, and that has never left you.
And I think one thing I need to say is I'm also lucky to have friends like Ivan, and not just my work friends who accept who I am. I was on dialysis and they accept me to work with me. And I still remember Ivan and I were running health promotion expo and parkouring that. And we never really worry about who did more than.
Yeah.
We never like that. I go along well with you. We know our work style,
Yeah.
and you even fight for things to do. That's unusual,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's how we work. And I think I also have another group of friends. They will, because as I interview patients, some of them lost their friends because they can't hang out with them. They're just losing them. My friend, when I think about it, my friend never left me. So when I was on dialysis, they still came to my house. Well, if I needed to do dialysis, I just went in somewhere. Well, when I come out, oh, I finished. Let's keep going. They never really left me. So I think I was lucky enough in that sense. I got friends to accept me. And yeah, so in my car.
Because of who you are, you very authentic. It's hard to say like
It's a
you
feeling.
just you,
Yeah.
you just you. When people talk about Kiriko, they know who Kiriko is. Like you
Another
very
side of me,
real.
I
You
hope.
very real. Yeah.
And I think that really helped as I interview other, and I just realized I'll be grateful how lucky I am because of my work at health center, and I need to especially say thank counties medical health because I was working at that time and they just truly believe in my ability to carry on my work. And they also look after me as well. So I really appreciate the doctors and nurses. And I think what I want to highlight is, so Ivan actually visited me when I was in hospital after transplant, and he bought me a little teddy bear. I need to remember. I tried to find a teddy bear. I couldn't find it yesterday. But what happens with the high dose of prednisone? I saw the teddy bear that I rolled it. And oh, that's freaky. But yeah, I got friends who visited me when I was looking horrible because I didn't have a shower for how many days. I got the drainage bed. And yeah, I got friends who visited me in the hospital. And as you heard, I met Ivan through my work. It's not from my school, but it's the friendship that really lasts. So I think yes, it is. I'm lucky that I have friends and I have an organization who truly believe in me and support me. And in turn, that actually make me feel about, okay, I'm a person that I'm still can be normal, like at work. Yeah.
You are not normal. You are a superwoman. That's how I would describe you. You're more than just normal. I mean, like at the time when I find out you have to go to do dialysis, I still don't really understand what that means. And then when you describe to me how you have to do it like 5 times a day, I was like, what? And then you still do all that?
And I think there's nothing you can do. And again, when I was looking at the study again, a lot of study talking about, okay, acceptance, CBT and all that. I don't disagree that. But what I find is more important is if you want to work with someone with long-term illness or even mental health issues, it's more like asking them what actually is your life purpose. For me at that time, I want to live. I want to look after my dogs. I got 3 dogs, and Mocha was my baby. He actually wake me up. And well, put this way, he actually sit next to me when I dialyzed every time, basically. And I never had an infection, so lucky. But it's more like something that drives you. You keep going because it's hard. Doing 7.5 years for 5 times, and lots of people will be depressed.
Yeah.
So I think in health sector, we always talk about, okay, acceptance, CBT. And I think, yes, talking about ask the person, what's your life purpose? And like what I said, the Marahini or the Pacific lady I interview or the Pakia lady, actually is they want to be the best mother and look after the children and see the children grow up and have grandkids. And that keep them going. And I think that is more important. If you can discuss with your client or patient, find it out, then they will stick with the treatment probably because it's tough.
I know. I hear you saying, like understand what gives them the fuel to keep going.
Keep going. It's the drive. It's the motivation.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not about taking medication.
No, but it's the whole lifestyle. Yeah.
And I think, as I said, I dialyzed with my dog next to me, which is a no-no.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, because
I know, but my doctor, he's a Pacific person, and my nurse, she is a Pakia. There was no culture. In fact, they treat me very, very nice. They never question me or tell me you can't have a dog because you tell me my baby can't say no. I think that's why I really like them, and they actually accept me, that is very important. And
Yeah.
and I think the difference that they told me they believe in me, and there's another thing as well. So different to other patients, I know because dialysis is very different to other treatment.
That's right.
If I was overloaded for like swollen feet, swollen face, and I couldn't breathe because of the fluid in my body, then I will call hospital, medical
Mm.
hospital, and say, "Well, I need the extra strong bed to
Mm.
remove the fluid in my body," and they should let me do it because they trust me. I could make a
Yes,
good decision. I'm
that's
not
right.
silly to just request that. And that helps as well. So if
Mm.
you are listening, you work in health, I think if you can somehow the patient you make the patient feel that you believe in that, believe in them, that can make a difference as
Yeah.
well. And so again, it's part of my study that some of the people think the clinician patient relationship is about trusting
Yeah.
the and believing that and empowerment that's
Yeah.
basically, and that is very helpful because they never question me because they are interesting, and the doctor was very nice. I really like him because whenever I admit to hospital, rather than he talked to me like a
Yeah.
consultant with a group of young doctors, so he would sit at the end of my bed and talk to me like a friend,
Mm.
and yeah, it just that makes a difference.
Honestly, Kitty, I mean, if even looking back, you didn't tell me, people wouldn't even pick it up because you never have, like scenes like you were not feeling well or something. It's because of your honesty and like how you always really candid about what you're going through. And even when you say it to people, like you're not saying it to get sympathy or you're just saying it because you have to let people know, like you're like, oh, I can't make it this time because blah blah blah. And what I want people to understand is, like people trusted you is because of who you
Yes.
are.
Oh, thank you.
Like and because I always believe trust is a both way.
I think so.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can pick up the signal about the person you can trust or not. It's not
Yeah.
about what you say. You can say
Yeah.
wonderful
Wonderful
facts,
things. That's true.
but you still come across as a bit,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that is important as well.
Yeah.
And as a health professional, I think trust is important to build a
Mm,
relationship
I
between,
agree.
and if you want your consumer or patient do well, the trust is the relationship. It's not about how knowledgeable
No.
it's important, but as I was doing the systematic review again about that, I thought, yes, actually, all the patients know that if you are a doctor and nurses, you are knowledgeable already. If not, you won't be working your job.
Mm,
But what they were looking at is the relationship. There's some to say that, why did you even ask, how are you?
mm,
Yes, the trust, it's a human connection. Even I did another paper that we published it because hospital is very busy. And I think most thing the net or patient talk about is lacking is the relational, like people asking simple, how are you? It's
mm.
simple thing you can do as a professional. And that actually open that up and probably make your life easier as well for me because
Yeah.
maybe less complaint because people think, oh, that
Yeah.
nurses genuinely care about me.
Yeah.
As I said, my doctor, nurse never question me about the dog because it should be a no. But they never because they know it's my baby. If you tell me no, well, what should I do? And the other thing I want to highlight is because I was working and lunchtime miners actually they would actually heat up one of the bed because I need to be warm up if not
Yeah.
it's too cold to put in my body, and they warmed it up for me and I
Wow.
went into the clinic, do that within half an hour, put my own bed, put bed onto the warmer and leave, and of course I clean everything as well within half an hour. It's very quick anyway and go. So what they always say is, oh, I was walking very fast, they hear my footstep, finish, go boom 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 again. But without them it was very hard because I
Yeah.
work at hospital, so I was able to do that, but without the nurses I wasn't even able to do that.
Mm.
So I really appreciate the support as well. And just coming to the people support, I just forgot to mention about Dr. Carlos Lam.
I thought about him as well.
How can he put up with me for 10 years? So he actually run the support network with me since 2000, not support network, the Asian network since 2015.
Mm.
Although I started earlier, that was for mental health at that time, but with him on board and we just, yes, I think it's quite good because if people know him, he is
Yeah,
a person that's very
agree.
put everything into it.
I agree. He's another person that I would say,
You need to
yeah.
interview. Because what happened is and my other GP works, he doesn't work certain day because he wanted to attend community stuff and he
Exactly.
contribute to community. So I think that's how we get along well and we stay each other for 10 years.
Yeah.
And just like you and me, you just get to know the person, you know how to work together and you trust the person.
And he's one of those people who really want to make a difference to
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And I think when we get older, we probably look for younger generation to continue what we wanted to do because we have families and all that. Yeah, so he's another person that I should mention about, and of course all the other friends that from the network who quietly supporting my network by spreading the word of mouth about the network. Even though I don't mention the name because I got too many, and some are too shy to be mentioned anyway. And I think the other thing, the good thing about the network is I also attract another group of new young researcher or students, master, PhD, or even academic. So for a long time, there was a forum probably for the so there are different purpose for the younger researcher or student. They were able to practice the presentation, but also the good thing is they can try to find the participant for their study. And for us already on the network is for us or health professionals to learn what is going on in the world and update our knowledge because the student, yes, there's studying a topic that haven't finished, but they did some background information that actually is helpful for us to learn what's going on while you're doing that. I had one student came to present just this Monday about emotion regulation or Asian
when this
1.5, two second generations. And I also got a professor and the student trying to recruit participants for the apps to manage depression. And he got back to me and said that, because of the network, my phone could help. They only got a few people from my network registered. So I think it's not just for the network member to know what's going on, but also for the academic researcher to find the participants and the train the knowledge. And what I wanted them to do, or maybe I sort of say that is, you need to come back to share your finding because we can't just use my network to find participants, but we also want you to share. So it's a mutual thing that I think is for the sake of the community as well. So through this network, because I think you attend my network. So my network is not a one-way kind of thing. So people are able to talk and ask questions and discuss, and that's what I'm looking for. I don't hold a webinar like a one-way thing. Like I'm the expert. I don't do it like that. But rather, and we were lucky enough to have a surgeon to present something on Monday. And in fact, because of his conversation, it opened it up another question about interpreters, translators, and stop at the meeting. And then all after that, I got emails. Okay, what do I do? So another person say, oh, this person contacted me because this person presented that how to become an interpreter. Or the other person I put in the contact is wanting to look at the data about how many people actually not able to access interpreter in certain area. Or you never know what you present can trigger or make people think actually a discussion about how do we improve the service better. So I think that's the beauty of the network is, as I said, I cannot know everything. And I don't believe that I know everything. And I think everybody knows certain things. But if I can bring all these people together to create a forum, and we can have discussion, not just learning, a discussion. Well, if it's possible, I would like to turn things into action if I can. But even if not, I think I try my best to bring people to stimulate their thinking. That's what I want.
And I'm just conscious about your time because I know you have to go.
That's all right.
Yes. Okay, good. Because that's what I want to touch on is the purpose of the network is allowing people to form its connections through topics that were presented. And also, as a matter of fact, there's no such platform that available for Asian at all.
Probably at that time, I see them more coming up, but it's different.
It's very not for health. Like as especially not for health as a health professional to connect with a wide range of.
And you just brought up a good point. So my network even is in a health sector, but I welcome NGO, I welcome PhO, I welcome committee members or just people interested in
even me. I don't belong to anything. I came and do presentation to your group.
We'll learn something from that. And I think the other thing is yes, my group is my network is Asian health, but what I want to highlight is I welcome anybody.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't matter who you
Yeah.
are. If you are genuinely wanted to make a contribution to Asia, I was just interested in that. Welcome to join it. So I think that is the slightly different to other group because sometimes they limit their membership to certain group or a certain area. But as long as you have a computer, I got people from Italy because they moved to there. I got people from Melbourne, not Melbourne, Brisbane because they moved.
Even the weekly email out there is very
That's
cool.
so interesting because people will contact him directly
Yeah,
and send him stuff for.
absolutely. I mean, like even, I will still have a look and see what's going on.
Yeah.
You get an idea.
And I think the other thing is about the network. If network is a meeting, but it's not a formal meeting.
Yeah.
So a lot of people worry about committing themselves, and I need to say, I apologize. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Just as part of the network, and if you feel you have a question, can come. But I think as part of the network, I just make sure you have the emails and you can feel updated about what's going on, and probably remind you, hey, actually, there is something that I can ask this person. And I just got an email the other day. Somebody was doing some cases in one of the hospital, and because he's part of the network, so he remembered me and said, "Okay, can you do that?" I was like, "Okay, yes." Case by case basis, because it's very hard for someone in that kind of role, but it's not connected with the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I said I can't give you a whole lot of resources because different patients have different needs and
That's right.
different support group. Stroke patient have different needs than someone on dialysis. So I said, well, come to me case by case. But of course, I also referred him to the cultural training because I think it's important. So I think, as I said, Kurt's email, the weekly email, how the people say, oh, okay, yes, I can ask this network. And that's important because my meeting's only once every 2 months. So that's different.
Before we finish, thank you so much.
Yes.
First, I want to say,
you.
like, it's incredible that you're here and sharing your journey with me, especially witnessing your own journey. But I have this question I want to ask you
Yes.
before we finished. What would you say to your younger kid
Yeah.
that you think to validate who she is?
That's a hard question. Well, for me, I think I'm very different to a lot of people will think when you do your PhD, you need to finish your bachelor degree, finish your master degree, and finish your PhD degree kind of streamlined. My life is doesn't work like that somehow. So for me, it's more like it took me 9 years to finish my master degree because I was working and I was sick. And to be honest, for my PhD degree, I was thinking about that in 2014. I divorced. So I thought that was a right moment. You don't need to worry too much. But it wasn't
I think
right.
everybody were very happy for you when they know you divorced. Just put it that way. Just say it that way. Yeah.
I-
Shouldn't be, but they were good for good reason.
Yes, for
Yeah.
good reasons. And I think for me, if I look back, don't ever underestimate what you dream for. So when I look back, yes, it took me 10 years because I started my PhD in 2021. So I was thinking from 2014, but my life was so busy that I couldn't do it. People may have give up already for various reasons, but for me, and again, this come to the topic, I really want to do this topic. And so it took me 7 years to turn it into a reality. So I think if I look back at what I tell myself, my younger self, I would say, don't give up your dream for a dreamful. And maybe I was thinking about that, maybe even younger, but I never believed I can do that until I am doing that. And to be honest, in the first 1 or 2 years doing my PhD, I didn't want to tell people because I really worry I will fail. And I want to keep it a secret because I want to fail. It's not, but now I'm in my 5th year part-time. And a lot of people, whenever they see me, when are you going to finish your PhD? Honestly, a lot of people ask me, it's like, well, after 2 years probably. And qualitative research is even more.
Yeah.
But I think for me as a person, I'm very rigid. And I think if I come through dialysis, I think this is not that hard. Well, actually, I just told my supervisor, that is actually harder than doing dialysis.
I tell you, Kitty, that's what I'm going to say to you. Knowing you, I know you finish your PhD. Knowing you, I will also say that has been your whole journey, which is you never give up.
I think that is to do a PhD is not how bright you are. And so to people listening to this podcast, if you ever think about you're not smart or you're thinking about your ability, if you are rigid or stubborn like me, or who said, actually, you can do it. Believe in yourself, because I'm not the top student in my class. I want to share that I actually failed 6 of my 7 of the year 1 paper. I told people about that because what I want to young people to know that is, because at that time I didn't know. I chose the paper that wasn't what I liked. I just chose the paper that my friends who's good at mathematics, statistics, economics. Of course, I failed. I'm good at psychology. So that's why I failed the 6 out of the 7 paper, year 1. But when I come to my study, at that time, I never think I would do a PhD. I failed the 6 paper. How would I do a PhD? But I think if you can find something that you like, even you study, I work something on the tour, but it's something that you really want to do, that drive you doing, then you will do it no matter how hard it is. And even you're not bright, if you think people's telling you, don't believe that. If you're stubborn like me, you can do it. And I really want to share that because I want people to see that even you didn't do well in the beginning, it doesn't mean that you can't do well later. It's just finding something that you really like and drive you. And come back to the motivation thing is like how you motivate patient or service user to keep their treatment, and motivation is more important. And last thing is more like why I study. I remember how I'm not crying. So my grandfather bought me the pen. I tried to find the pen, but I didn't bring it. So he believed me. I can study. Of course, I will study education, but I never thought I would doing PhDs. I plan to do that as in my thesis when I finish another 2 years. Then I will acknowledge him because he bought me the pen. And he taught me how to read newspaper. And I think he was the one that teaching me to read. So I'm the odd one in the family that likes reading. I think because of him as well. Yeah. So that's different. Thank you, Ivan, for sharing. Let me share my journey. So hopefully it give people some hope and inspiration.
And just to finish, this is keep repeating, coming back, is that people have given you hope and inspiration.
Yes.
And so you want to be sharing it with other people. And that's why you have done all the work that I can really see is truly aligned to who you are, the essence of who you are. And for that, I just want to say thank you so much for everything you have done and being who you are. And being as authentic as you are always as a great community leader. I know you probably didn't see yourself, but
you just reminded me. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing Rosie coming.
See, very kind. Say bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.